Okay, if you've been around at all, you've heard of the comment of get your foot down early. Okay, now, as a player who's played in the major leagues for 10 years, I have a problem with that. And I understand that there's good intentions. And the intentions are eliminate something so that you keep it easier. But it's not easier. The reason why it's not easier is because in order to swing, you have to transfer your weight. You have to transfer your weight from your back to your front, or from the center to the front. Okay, now you don't end up there because you return right back to the middle. So it's actually a transfer of weight and return. So where am I? I'm in the middle now. Or I'm at the backside. If you want to transfer return, you can do that if you want. So that's guys that think they hit off the back foot, that's ridiculous. You actually transfer your weight, and then you get on your back foot, that's fine. Okay, so it's not, by getting my foot down early, the problem with that is in order to swing, I can't swing from here. So now this means that when I'm going to swing, I'm going to have to be transferring as I'm swinging. Okay, what a major league player will do is he's on time, he transfers, let me show you. The major league player transfers, and when he lands right at that point, boom, right here, now his head's not going to go anymore. He's going to swing, he's going to be in his transfer throughout the swing, and then he's going to return. You're in your transfer. Now, my leg's a little sore, so it's slightly bent. So right now I'm going to be blocking with it fully bent, often. But the fact is that your leg is supposed to land slightly bent, and then it straightens out as your core turns, it'll straighten out, okay, in the blocking phase. But we'll go over that later. So the idea, if I get my foot down early, I'm going to be shifting and gliding, or my hips are going to be sliding while I'm swinging. If that doesn't impress you very much, think of it as throwing. Now imagine I was throwing, and I'm turning a double play, and someone says, get your foot down early, you'll be quicker. Okay, get my foot down early, okay. So when I throw, I have to transfer my weight, okay? I can't throw without transferring my weight. At least, even if I'm not going to go anywhere, I have to be on the back side to the front side. I have to get off my back side to actually throw, okay? Problem is, the harder I want to throw, the harder I have to transfer my weight. Now, I may not be going anywhere. I may be in a phone booth, so they say, but I'm going to transfer hard, okay? Now, if I've already put my foot down, I grab it, I catch it, I put my foot down. Guys that talk about a no stride throwing, like with a catcher, they're talking about catching the ball and keeping on your back leg, but you're still striding, okay? You're still striding with your front leg, and that's what we're talking about, striding with our front leg. So a no stride wouldn't apply to throwing because you have to take a stride, some sort of stride, because you're going to have to shift your weight. Now, if you don't shift your weight, and if you don't stride, then your foot's not going to get in the proper place. If I put my foot down early, then when I go to throw, I'm going to leak a little bit. Even if it's an inch, my ball's going to stray. My ball's going to stray because as I go and transfer really hard to actually throw it, because I'm not blocking hard enough, the ball's going to stray. Okay? Now, same with swinging a bat. If I'm going to swing a bat and I stride early, what you see players occasionally do is they make sure that they block by leaning back. Now, I'm not saying that you can't do an early stride, but what I am saying is that if you want to do an early stride, you need to understand that the issues that you're going to have are the same as if you had a no stride swing. So if I have a no stride swing, the guys that have a no stride, if a guy comes to me and says, well, I'd like to do an early stride. Problem with an early stride is you're relating that to your timing. And if you're going to stride early, you may not stride at all. You may as well not stride at all. I mean, why are you striding at all? Because you're not timing the pitch. You're not coping with the pitcher with your stride. See? So if you do a no stride, then your issues are. Anybody at the major league level or coming up knows that if you have a no stride swing, your issue is you don't want to leak up, out, or up and out, or you don't want to lose your posture forward, okay? That's called blocking. We'll get into that later, okay? So your issue with a no stride swing is leaking. So if I do an early stride, I'm going to be thinking it's hard for players to actually do an early stride because they think it's an actual stride. It's not a stride. It's just an early movement, okay? If you think it's a stride is a striding to hit. A stride includes transferring your weight, okay? Now, if I'm going to transfer my weight and stride at the same time, fine. Because you have to transfer your weight, boom, and hit the ball from when you land. How many of you you've had a scale in the bathroom and try to put as much weight as quick as you can? When the scale, right then, the scale will spike, okay? And that's when all your energy's in it. So when you land, you want to swing right then, boom, when you land with your transfer. The second boom is at contact. Your third boom is return, okay? So it's boom, transfer. Second boom is contact. Third boom is return. So it's like this, boom, boom, boom. It's quick, okay? You don't want to go boom, boom, boom. That's a leak. Or here and then slide and not even really have a boom. Because look, the core needs to move. It's a high ballistic core move. The core is ballistic. If you do an early stride and a hip slide, it's not going to explode the way you want it to. But if you can get the scale to spike here, but if you get the scale to spike, you need to know how to block. So the goal here, you'd never do it throwing. You'd never stride early throwing. And the basic premise of, well, get your foot down. Listen, look, if I'm late, if I go to swing and I'm late and I hit a ball like that, getting my foot down is not going to ensure that I'm going to be early. Just because I get my foot down is not going to make me more ready. Because being on time, timing itself is transferring on time. Whether I go anywhere or not, even if I stride early, I still have to transfer my weight on time. Okay? So if timing is transferring on time, what's going to happen when I transfer my weight? My foot's going to come down. If I'm going to throw a ball, would you ever tell someone throwing to get their foot down? Would you be worried that a pitcher wasn't going to get his foot down when he transferred his weight? Okay, don't forget to get your foot down. Well, of course you're not going to worry, because when you transfer, your foot is going to find the best place for you. Your foot's going to find the right place for you to go, and that's the advantage of doing a regular stride. So what I'm saying is up till now, I'm sure you just haven't had the information. You don't understand timing well enough to know when to stride. What I'm telling you is I'm going to show you how to cope with the pitcher, how to cope with his wind-up and delivery, and to know when to stride, how to stride, so that you can always find a land swing. There's a reason why that 99.9% of hitters in the history of baseball have had a little bit of a stride, even if it's just a tiny stride like this. Now, honestly, I'm not even saying a no stride is bad. I used a no stride and almost led the league in hitting with a no stride one time. So I'm not saying anything about a no stride. I think it's great. It gives you the feeling that the ball is going to come to you. So that's a great thing. The problem is that you failed to learn the whole issues that surround it. If you try to fix a problem by putting a Band-Aid on it, oh, get your foot down, you're not coping with the idea. It's like coming back to the idea of learning a dance. You need to learn all the steps in the dance. You're not going to say, well, I don't like all those, or I don't know all the dance steps, so I'm just going to kind of make a little shortcut here. No, if you quit doing all the steps of the dance, you're no longer doing the tango. So if you're trying to do the tango and you don't know all the steps in the dance, then you're no longer doing that tango. So anyways, get your foot down early is not an excuse for not learning how to cope with the pitcher, and I call this ride and stride. About 12 years ago, I coined a term called ride and stride, and it's what we all do. You cope with the pitcher goes in his windup and he attacks you, he releases it, so it's ride, and then stride, land, swing. But hitters will let this striding, off timing, and then getting fooled, and they'll say, I don't want to do that anymore. But what they're really doing is they're not coping with the delivery, and they're not understanding how to stride and swing. So the most important thing is whether you're going to play the piano or anything that you're going to do in life, any skill, any sport, any art, you're going to try to improve your skills. It's amazing. Hitting is one of those things where hitters don't even want to learn anything else. Even if it's the truth, they don't want to learn it. But what happens is, I can't tell you how many guys who have played independent ball, who played in the minor leagues even, and have been in A-ball, they've even led the league in hitting, but they don't go to Double-A. Why? Because scouts and coaches, they can't project that guy to play in the major leagues. You have a ceiling. If you don't continually try to improve yourself, continually try to be a better player, you're going to have a ceiling that's as far as you're going to go. And you don't want that. You want to remove all obstacles in your way. You want to become the best hitter that you can be. And it's just as easy to learn the correct way to do a dance or gymnastics. Hey, trust me. I have 4 daughters and a son, but my 4 daughters were in gymnastics and the dance and cheerleading and all that, you know. At 8 years old, they're working stuff out. Now, could we say that about our 16-year-old sons, or if you're a 16, 18-year-old player, you're a college player, a young pro player, are you working it out as much as that 8-year-old gymnast? Because the 8-year-old gymnast knows exactly what she's doing, he or she. They know exactly what they're doing. And they're learning it step by step. But as hitters, we're okay that it's random. We just try something new. We have no idea what we're doing. And I include myself in that for a lot of my career. And that, there was no one to tell me, which is why I'm so passionate about this. Because I wanted someone to come alongside me and tell me the truth. I remember I had a guy trying to get me to take a small stride and stand up real tall. So I was up real tall like this, and I tried to take a small stride, and I couldn't swing. Why couldn't I swing? Because you have to actually transfer your weight to swing, okay? So I'm trying to stride and keep my weight back. He said, keep your weight back. So I'm standing here like this, I'm trying to keep my weight back, but I couldn't pull the trigger, so the ball's getting blown by me. So the key is, what ended up happening was I ended up with the large stride. I ended up with a very, very big stride.
So when you spend all your time trying to stay back in your mind, what happens is that you're trying to stay back so much that either you quit on balls or you overcompensate and realize that you have to actually transfer and shift your weight. It's not a conscious thing, but you end up overstriding because of an overcompensation. And it's just something that if you allow yourself to stride on time, then you can take a nice short stride because you're doing it kind of preemptively. Yet that's not to be confused with going out and getting a ball on time like you're buying time.